Once upon a time, there lived a young woman named Maya, whose world revolved entirely around her father, Marcus. Her mother had passed away during childbirth, leaving Marcus to raise Maya as a single parent. The first time Marcus held Maya in his arms, the world seemed to pause. It was a moment suspended between profound joy and immeasurable loss. His wife, Elena, had just taken her final breath, her life ebbing away moments after giving birth to their only child. The delivery room, typically a place of celebration, was instead shrouded in a silence so thick it felt like mourning itself had taken physical form. Marcus was a man of precision, an architect who had built entire cityscapes with careful calculations and unwavering vision. But nothing in his professional life could have prepared him for the delicate task of raising a daughter alone. From that first moment, he made a silent promise to Elena's memory. He would be both mother and father to Maya, ensuring she would never feel the absence of love. As Maya grew, their bond became something extraordinary. Unlike most father-daughter relationships, theirs was a partnership, a deep friendship that transcended typical familial boundaries. Marcus didn't just provide for Maya, he involved her in every aspect of his life. Weekend mornings were spent reviewing architectural blueprints together, with Maya sitting beside him, her small fingers tracing the intricate lines of his designs. "See this curve," he would say, pointing to a complex architectural detail. "Every line tells a story. Every angle has a purpose." Maya absorbed these lessons, not just about architecture, but about life. Her father taught her that nothing was coincidental, that intention and care could transform even the most mundane elements into something beautiful. By the time she was ready for university, Maya had become her father's closest confidant. The thought of leaving him was almost unbearable. Their home, a meticulously designed modern structure that Marcus had created himself, had always been their sanctuary, a space where just the two of them existed in perfect harmony. "I'll miss you more than these walls will miss me," Maya would joke, trying to mask her genuine anxiety about separation. Marcus understood. He had protected their bubble so carefully, ensuring that no external relationship could penetrate their world. After Elena's death, he had immersed himself completely in being a father, pushing away potential romantic connections. Maya was his world, his purpose, his everything. Her university was 2 hours away, close enough for frequent visits, but far enough to challenge their carefully constructed routine. The first few months were a dance of frequent calls, weekend visits, and care packages filled with her favorite foods and handwritten notes from Marcus. What Maya didn't realize was that her father's heart, long dormant, was beginning to stir with the possibility of companionship. And when he met Sophia, a landscape designer who shared his professional passion and personal depth, everything would change. Sophia was unlike any woman Marcus had known. She was independent, intelligent, and carried herself with a quiet confidence that both intrigued and challenged him. Their first meeting was professional, a collaborative project that demanded they work closely together. But professional respect slowly transformed into something deeper, more nuanced. The first time Marcus brought Sophia home, Maya's world tilted on its axis. Sophia was elegant, with silver-streaked hair and eyes that seemed to hold entire conversations without uttering a word. She didn't try to replace Elena or compete with Maya's position in Marcus's life. Instead, she offered a gentle, understanding presence that was both supportive and respectful. But Maya's heart couldn't see this. All she saw was an intruder, a threat to the perfectly constructed world she had shared with her father for so long. The battle would not be fought with dramatic confrontations, but with subtle, calculated moves designed to protect her territory. Maya would learn that jealousy was a complex emotion, capable of transforming love into something unrecognizable, and so began a silent war, a psychological chess match where the stakes were far more precious than any material possession. The weapon would be manipulation, the battlefield her father's heart, and the casualty would be the very love she sought to protect. Little did Maya know that love, true love, cannot be controlled. It can only be nurtured, respected, and allowed to grow. Maya's strategy was subtle, yet calculated. She understood her father's world intimately, every quirk, every preference, every potential vulnerability. Sophia would become her target, not through open confrontation, but through carefully orchestrated psychological warfare. The first opportunity came during a family dinner. Sophia had prepared Marcus's favorite dish, a complex Mediterranean seafood recipe that required hours of preparation. Maya watched carefully, her smile a mask of perfection, her mind already plotting. "This is wonderful," Marcus praised, his eyes warm with appreciation. "Reminds me of the trips Elena and I used to take." Maya caught the momentary shadow that crossed Sophia's face, a hint of vulnerability. She realized then that Sophia, for all her confidence, carried her own wounds. But vulnerability to Maya was not a reason for compassion. It was a weapon. She began by subtle undermining, a misplaced comment here, a calculated silence there. She would strategically bring up memories of her mother, watching how Sophia would react. Would she feel threatened? Would she try to compete? But Sophia was different. Instead of being provoked, she would listen, really listen. During one of these moments, when Maya was particularly sharp about her mother's memory, Sophia surprised her. "Your mother must have been an incredible woman," Sophia said softly, "to have raised such a passionate daughter and to have loved your father so deeply that her memory still lives so strongly in this home." It was not the response Maya expected. There was no defensiveness, no attempt to diminish her mother's memory, just genuine respect. Marcus noticed these interactions. He was perceptive, having spent years reading architectural blueprints. Understanding complex systems was his profession. He saw the subtle tension, the unspoken conversations between his daughter and Sophia. Weeks turned into months. Maya's tactics became more sophisticated. She understood that direct confrontation would only make her father more protective of Sophia. Instead, she would create scenarios that would subtly challenge Sophia's place in their lives. One weekend, she accidentally left her mother's old photo albums strategically placed where Sophia would see them. Each photograph was a carefully curated memory. Marcus and Eleanor's wedding, their early years, moments of pure, untainted love. Sophia would look at these photographs, not with jealousy or competition, but with a genuine appreciation of a love story that predated her own connection with Marcus. "Your parents had something truly special," she told Maya one afternoon when Marcus was out of the house. "The kind of love that transforms people." Maya was disarmed. Her carefully constructed plan was meeting a resistance she hadn't anticipated. Genuine, unconditional love that couldn't be manipulated. But Maya was not finished. Her next move would be more calculated, more dangerous. She would test the very foundations of Sophia and Marcus's relationship, pushing boundaries that would reveal their true character. Little did she know, the game she was playing would soon spiral beyond her control, threatening not just Sophia's place in their lives, but the very fabric of her relationship with her father. The delicate threads of love were about to be tested in ways none of them could have imagined. Maya's next move was calculated with surgical precision. She discovered Sophia had a rare medical condition, a respiratory issue she had carefully kept private. Maya saw this as her ultimate weapon. During a family gathering, she accidentally created an environment that would trigger Sophia's breathing difficulty. She knew her father's history, how her mother's health complications had deeply traumatized him. Marcus had always been terrified of losing someone to a medical vulnerability. Maya strategically placed scented candles in enclosed spaces, Knowing Sophia's respiratory sensitivity, the plan was to expose her weakness, to show Marcus how fragile and potentially burdensome she could be. What Maya didn't anticipate was the depth of Marcus's love. When Sophia began struggling to breathe, Marcus didn't hesitate. He didn't see her as weak or problematic. Instead, he became her protector, her support. He knew her condition and had always accepted it, seeing her strength, not her vulnerability. The incident culminated in a moment of profound revelation. Trapped in a smoke-filled room, Marcus shielded Sophia with his own body, risking everything to ensure her safety. Maya watched in horror as her carefully constructed plan crumbled. In the hospital, with Marcus covered in burns and Sophia recovering, Maya's facade finally broke. "I'm sorry," she whispered, the weight of her manipulations crushing her. "I was so afraid of losing him, of not being enough." Sophia's response was unexpected. "Love isn't about possession," she said quietly. "It's about growth, about making space for more love, not less." Marcus, despite his physical pain, looked at his daughter with a mixture of disappointment and profound love. "You nearly destroyed everything trying to protect something that was never in danger," he said. "Our love was never something that could be taken away." The path to healing was long. Maya underwent therapy, confronting the deep-seated fears that had driven her actions. She learned that her father's love was not a finite resource to be hoarded, but an expansive emotion capable of embracing more, not less. Years later, Maya would reflect on those moments as her greatest lesson. She discovered that family isn't about exclusive possession, but about connection. That love multiplies, it doesn't divide. Her relationship with Sophia transformed from antagonism to genuine sisterhood, a bond she now cherished as deeply as her relationship with her father. And Marcus? He watched with quiet pride as his daughter grew into a woman who understood that the heart has an infinite capacity for love. Jealousy destroys relationships. Maya's fear of losing her father's exclusive love led her to manipulative and destructive behaviors. Her attempts to control love actually pushed her father away and risked losing him completely. Love cannot be controlled. Marcus's journey teaches that love is not a finite resource. When he devoted himself entirely to Maya, he did so out of love and responsibility. But in doing so, he unintentionally created an environment where Maya felt she was the sole recipient of his affection. His love for Sophia did not diminish his love for Maya, but rather expanded his heart to include someone new. His lesson is that true love does not take away. It only grows when shared. Maya's fear of losing her father's attention led her to manipulation and deceit. However, she learned that fear-driven actions only create distance. She realized that love is not something that can be controlled or monopolized. When she finally understood that her father's love for Sophia did not mean he loved her any less, she was able to heal and grow emotionally. Sophia had every reason to retaliate against Maya's hostility, yet she chose patience and understanding. She demonstrated that true strength is not about overpowering others, but about standing firm in kindness and grace. She won over Marcus and Maya not by force, but by being her authentic self and respecting the love that existed before her. Marcus and Sophia's love developed naturally, built on mutual respect and shared passions. Unlike Maya's attempts to manipulate her father's emotions, their love was organic, proving that relationships must be nurtured rather than controlled. This teaches that love flourishes in freedom, not in restriction. Maya's transformation did not come from external forces, but from deep self-reflection. She had to confront her insecurities and acknowledge that her fear of losing her father was rooted in her own wounds. Healing is only possible when one takes responsibility for their emotions instead of blaming others. Instead of reacting with anger or resentment, Sophia and Marcus responded with understanding and forgiveness. This showed Maya that people are not defined by their worst mistakes and that relationships can be repaired when there is a willingness to change. Despite Maya's subtle attacks, Sophia never crumbled. She remained secure in herself and her place in Marcus's life. Her resilience proved that when you stand in truth, manipulation and jealousy have no power over you. Marcus and Maya's relationship had to evolve. What worked when Maya was a child could not remain the same as she became an adult. Marcus had to allow change and Maya had to embrace it. Relationships must grow and adapt to different seasons of life. Marcus always loved Maya, but she only truly realized it when she tried to sabotage his happiness and still found him there for her. His love was unconditional, even when she made mistakes. This taught her that true love remains, even when tested. Marcus trusted Sophia because she never gave him a reason to doubt her. Maya, on the other hand, learned that once trust is broken, it takes time and effort to rebuild. Trust must be earned through honesty, not through manipulation. Maya initially avoided confronting her fear of losing her father by trying to control his relationship. When her plans failed, she had no choice but to face her emotions head-on. Growth comes from facing fears, not avoiding them. In the end, Maya found a new kind of love, not just the love of a daughter for her father, but a familial bond with Sophia. She learned that family does not shrink when new people enter. It expands when hearts remain open. Maya weaponized her late mother's memory against Sophia, but she learned that honoring the past should not mean resisting the future. Her mother's love for Marcus would have wanted him to find happiness again, and accepting that allowed Maya to truly honor her mother's legacy. Sophia's respiratory condition could have made her seem weak, but instead, she proved that vulnerability does not make someone unworthy of love. Marcus did not see her condition as a burden, but as part of who she was. Strength comes from embracing one's weaknesses, not hiding them. Life does not remain the same forever. Maya had to grow up, and Marcus had to accept that his daughter would forge her own path. Change is inevitable, and resisting it only causes pain. True growth comes from learning to flow with life's transitions. Maya learned that genuine love is not about possession or exclusivity. Attempting to limit or manipulate love only creates pain and distance. Personal growth requires facing inner fears. Maya's jealousy stemmed from deep-seated fears of abandonment and loss. True healing came from understanding and addressing these underlying emotional wounds. Forgiveness and understanding trump manipulation. Her father and Sophia responded to her actions with compassion, not anger. This compassionate response ultimately helped Maya recognize her destructive behavior. Emotional maturity means accepting change. Maya had to learn that her relationship with her father could evolve and include others. Holding on to an idealized, unchanging version of their relationship was preventing her from experiencing a genuine connection. Maya's story is a powerful lesson in the complexities of love, jealousy, and personal growth. Through her journey, she learned that love is not about control but about trust and openness. Marcus realized that allowing his heart to expand did not mean he loved Maya any less. Sophia proved that patience and resilience are the keys to navigating difficult relationships. The story teaches that love, at its core, is about growth, inclusion, and acceptance. Holding on to the past, fearing change, and trying to control others only lead to pain. But when love is allowed to flourish freely, it creates deeper, more meaningful connections that can withstand even the most challenging tests. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more interesting stories. I love you.